I'm always a little worried when the comments section devolves into a sort of echo chamber. It means the algorithm has got the better of what's going on here. So on the one hand, we've got Dan Judson saying, I have an alternative theory for you. Housing asylum seekers at RAF Scampton is unfair on all parties. I suspect the adults in the Home Office know this and did this on purpose until the next general election. Yeah, absolutely. I entirely agree with you. I think this is a ploy. Thought criminal. There's the tents ain't right. Neither the hotels nor Marston, Folkestone Barracks, Rampton, Scampton or Northampton. The conclusion is obvious. Should never have been here in the first place. Nobody respected leave. Just a joke. And Joshua says, all the time someone says, I'm not sure this is legal. Big deal. Anyone can say that. Where do you think all these invaders should be accommodated? I'm not sure I like all the language here, but I appreciate the comments. British people are homeless. True. Councils have long council house waiting lists. True. The Refugee Convention is hopelessly out of date and was drafted because of the problems Jews escaping the Holocaust faced. True. No one envisaged people travelling halfway around the world to the UK dropping their passports in the Channel. What do you mean she claims to be a lawyer? Well, she received quite a lot of paperwork once she became, what was it now? I can't remember. Minister of Justice or something. Where do you think all these people should be accommodated? What is your answer? From where do you get all the water necessary, the electricity? Well, that's exactly the point that Suella Braverman has been questioned about. She didn't do the research. She didn't look into this. Have you tried getting a GP appointment lately? Well, in fact, I have, and I've complained about it. My hospital appointment has been postponed 3 times, while the Albanians in the holiday inns are given priority. Albanians given persecution ridiculous. Well, you know, let's take this to pieces as much as we can. And Joshua, this is with the best intentions, and I am very grateful to you for your comments. First of all, the Albanians. This level of attack on one nation is unacceptable. There are certainly some Albanians coming here looking to improve their life. And they're coming from the north of Albania, and the Prime Minister in Albania, Edi Rama, has been asking for nearly a decade for the UK to station a consulate in the north of Albania and deal with this problem at source, because it's very difficult to deal with it on the Channel or in this country. The solution that the Home Office had was to encourage Albanian police to come and monitor the situation from this side of the Channel. That was not Albania's proposal, but it will go some way. I don't think it's a good idea because it might well stop genuine asylum seekers, but it's a start. It's a start, and it will certainly discourage some of the people who are playing the system. But one has to be very careful that one doesn't, in that process, denigrate or belittle people from that country who have come here, who have made their life here, who have contributed greatly to our culture and our well-being. So I don't approve of that sort of language. I also know Albania, and I like it. So claiming to be a lawyer, yes, I think a lot of what Suella Braverman does is false, is fake, and she has the fake robes to prove it. She was an international. She was a lawyer specialising in migration, in people coming to this country, and so she's used that information and perverted it. And it is quite abhorrent. The number of times she has pushed the law to the edge and been slapped on the wrist for it is absurd for a Home Secretary. Absurd. So yeah, claims to be a lawyer. And certainly if you look at her performances in the select committee, she hasn't mastered her brief. The one thing lawyers are encouraged to do, the one thing lawyers are trained to do, is to master their brief. Because in the end, a lot of law is simply about memory. And if you haven't read the paperwork and done the work, then you can't possibly remember what issues are at stake. She doesn't do the work. It's lazy. And I don't particularly think we should have a lazy Home Secretary, as well as a hectoring Home Secretary. It's just wrong on every level. I'm not sure it's legal. I think that's a perfectly reasonable thing to say. And just how should these invaders be accommodated? We're all invaders, Joshua. We've all been invaders since before 1066. This country is built on immigration. And British people are homeless, it's absolutely true. But that doesn't mean that we should be failing in our responsibility. As long as we are signed up to the Refugee Convention of 1951, as long as we are signed up to the various international obligations, that's in the name. These are conventions and these are obligations that we have undertaken to fulfill. And all this dodging around and playing around, yes, it's about whether or not we are legal law or testing the limits of the law. That's absolutely true. But underneath all that, we are abrogating our responsibility and we are ducking our moral duty. And those two things are not about the law. Those two things are about our honesty and our honour. And we are rapidly eroding both. And that is the issue. And that isn't even brought up in Parliament or in discussions. Our responsibility and our honour. And I'm afraid those are the issues. And frankly, being lauded with gowns and honorary degrees simply because you've had a position in the government doesn't mean that you're a highly qualified lawyer. You're a jobbing immigration lawyer, Suella Braverman, and you're using the information that you got from people in a vulnerable position to make them even